Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Season 19 of NGS Division A matchup between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers. So, we have not yet heard who is which map we're going to be on, but the coin flip was won by the home team Spooky Ghosts, and they did choose first pick, which means the map will be chosen by Crit Kickers. They're convening with the team to decide what they'll go with, but we can talk about the bans in the meantime. Crit Kickers has chosen to ban Garden of Terror and Brax's Holdout. I would say that's interesting in the sense that these bans are almost opposite ends of the spectrum. Garden of Terror, really big map, lots of bushes, lots of choke points, lots of macro opportunities, lots of camps. And then Brax's Holdout is a two-lane map that's very snowbally, lots of team fighting, lots of brawling. So I don't really see a common thread between those maps being banned, but we won't see them because Crit Kicker wanted them gone. For Spooky Ghosts, we have seen Volskaya, Foundry, and Alterac Pass banned. So those are both very large maps. Globals are powerful, and neither of them have a lot of camps. So they're maps where you basically team fight over objective as soon as you think you have an advantage. So it may be that Spooky Ghosts prefer a more macro kind of map than these big maps with a team fight centered objective. Now we do have the other two-lane map still available. And in fact, that is what has been picked. We are going to be going to the Battlefield of Eternity. So again, this map is picked by Crit Kicker, so first ban and first pick will go over to Spooky Ghosts. So BOE, the other two-lane map, lots of aggression in this middle, or in the middle over the Immortals. Common characters here are things that can race, so Vala is a high priority, Raynor, Zul'jin. In the offlane, we often see things like Artanis or Thrall or Sonya. We also see tanks that can create space, so Johanna, Garrosh, Diablo can be popular in this map, but the point is, you can team fight, you can attempt to race while trying to give people some push around. Trying to keep them away for yours while you, excuse me, while you race yours. Li Ming is very popular in this map because you force your opponent to choose between letting the Immortal take damage or taking damage on themselves. So there's a lot of, we often see interesting builds on this map. We can sometimes see hyper carry builds on this map. We sometimes see interesting offlane picks as things that can help race or help create space. And this is a Hoku favorite in the sense that Artanis can be successfully picked on this map, taking the amateur opponent talent and helping their team with the race. Also able to use the Suppression Pulse ultimate effect. A 4-second blind is huge, and it's got a very large AoE, and it's not a huge cooldown. So this is one of the few niche maps where Artanis is actually a priority offlaner if you have someone on your team who's very good at playing them. Now, Artanis gets more difficult to play the longer the game gets. You need to be more and more careful with your swaps. But if you're good at Artanis, you can make the other team very, very afraid of you. We're just waiting for a few last Rs. One team has R'd, the caster has R'd. We are just waiting for the other team to say they're ready to go, and we will hop right into draft. So, we have Spooky Ghosts. They've had a rough go this season. They have 4 points in the standings. But this is their opportunity to turn that around. It only takes one game to get your confidence going. Hey, Nor. And so this is their opportunity to try and, excuse me, try and get themselves on a hot streak here. On the other hand, we do have Crit Kickers. They struggled to start the season, but they have been on fire the latter part of the season, and they now have 18 points, and I believe are third in Division A. So they have been getting hot at the right time as we trundle towards playoffs. So a lot of great opportunities for both these teams, for Crit Kickers to solidify their playoff spot or even move up. It's fairly tight at the top of Div A, if I recall correctly. And for Spooky Ghost, this is an opportunity to try to get their cohesiveness back here at the mid-late point of this season. They can try and get a game or even try to get a set and, you know, bring their team together a little bit with the upset. So both teams have good reasons to try to take this match home. In fact, I would say both teams have good reason to try to get the domination. So here's hoping we see those smart plays, but also those aggressive plays. And on BOE, we often do see aggressive plays. We'll see big team fights come booming out of nowhere. We'll see attempts at camp steals. We'll see invades sometimes even. They're not common, but they do happen. Just a little update. We had a a player who had to restart their game. So we should be hopping into draft shortly. But I think Battlefield, I actually think the two Diablo-themed maps are two of the more exciting maps in the map pool. Battlefield of Eternity and Infernal Shrines both kind of provoke you to go hard. There's a fair amount of open space with the occasional vent, the occasional wall that says, can you get me? Can you catch me in the choke point? And sometimes you see baits coming out on these maps where people go to chase in this sudden turn. So I actually do quite love the way the vision works, the way the choke points work on both of the Diablo-themed maps. And I really do love the stylistic differences. The shining white and gold of the Heaven-themed side, and the dark black iron and deep blood red of the Hell-themed side. So I'm actually quite a fan of these maps. Stylistically, I actually prefer the really big maps. I love Alterac. I really like Cursed Hollow and Garden of Terror. But visually and in terms of team fights, you can't go wrong with either of the Diablo maps. So, again, just waiting for one last player. And we'll hop into draft. Please, again, you can see Crit Kickers picked the map, and that is because Spooky Ghosts won the coin flip and wanted first pick. So we see a few people here with ghosties. We've got ours from one team. We've got our from the caster. I'm ready to go, guys. I'm ready to rock and roll. Always hoping for a 3-game series. I don't care what the standings say. I want to see it go hard. We have discussed how this is the best Artanis map, Hokulele, but I'm happy to discuss it more. I love Artanis. With amateur opponent, he is one of the best racing offlaners there is. And if you can win the duel in the offlane, it can be a lot of fun. But we are going into the draft of game number 1 between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers. Let's go. Div A matchup. So, once all the characters are loaded in, we will see the first ban going over to Spooky Ghosts. And we'll see, whoop, somebody got popped out. So we will get out of the BO3 map. Out of draft screen, back to, that was unlucky. So, someone got kicked out of the draft phase because they all tapped. That's funny. All right, let's get this draft going for real as we count down into Battlefield of Eternity. So we'll see if this Artanis get banned so that Hokulele can weep. Hopefully not. But we'll see if they go for hero bans specifically, to like player bans, or if they're just gonna ban the things that are strong on this map, like the Vala, like the Raynor, like the Artanis. So unlike the changes to Storm League, where these ban timers and pick timers are about 6 seconds apiece, because who needs time to think about things when you got a bunch of randoms hovering bullcrap, customs at least still have a fair amount of time. Brightwing has been banned. The global healer has been removed from the map, and she can be quite strong here in helping a weaker dueling offlaner suddenly gain an advantage. Johanna does get banned. She's still a priority tank for this map, fairly good at disrupting a team who's trying to fight, on the Immortal. I had one too many peanut M&Ms. My chest is not liking me. With Johanna removed, we'll see what the final ban of the first ban phase will be for the members of Spooky Ghosts. And going down to 0 seconds, we do see Ariel removed. So they're going for the healer choke against Travis Party. He is a very good Ariel. Brightwing is actually the other healer's Icon's main hero. So still some great choices. The Lucio ban. So a tight hero choke here. On the healer area, but first pick does go to Spooky Ghost, so they do have a slight advantage here. If they want to choke out healer, or even go for a double healer hyper carry strategy, and yes, they pick the Ando instead of 4 healers off the board for Travis Party. On the other hand, he can pick here if he likes. The only possible downside here, if they don't pick a healer in their first 2 picks, that does give Spooky Ghosts another opportunity to ban a healer. So I suspect we'll see Travis Party's healer come out in these first 2 picks. With 4 seconds left to go, they're taking it right down to the last second. Feint to Parry takes the Dahaka, and we don't see the healer. We see ETC, the Elite Torin Cheftain, come from Godfred. Both of his ultimates can work on this map. The Stage Dive can let you push any lane anytime or jump to a camp to help your team, and Dahaka also a global, so gives a lot of power to give you outnumbered situations anywhere at any time. Diablo is good on this map, lots of wall sections to chunk people into, and the Greymane is here also. Excellent racer, good at blowing people up, and ETC is a tank who is ironically not very beefy, doesn't have a high base hit pool, so Greymane can be very dangerous into the cow. And that wolf likes beef. And Diablo can get incredibly chunky. So we'll see if they maybe ban something like the Tychus to prevent more % health damage, or if they continue to choke the healer pool. But it is Crit Kicker's ban, and they will ban the Sonya for the offlane. Good at racing, good at punishing Dahaka for pushing up to take the wave, so smartly removed by Crit Kickers. The final ban of this game is in the ballpark, or it's in the wheelhouse here. Spooky Ghosts get to pick the last thing that will not get played this map, and it's going to be Tychus. So they do remove one of the easiest and most consistent % damage characters, and that makes sense. IE has played Tychus very well throughout the season so far, so this is both a good comp ban as well as a good player ban. We still will see Rhaegar picked for Travis Party, and IE will get the Vala. Such a highly contested pick on BoE, and left till 4th pick on the blue side. That's somewhat impressive. But Infinity Meme will get the final flex spot. The last 2 picks to come out will be a flex spot, probably a wave clear mage, and the offlaner for Eric Withak and Boundrix. 4 seconds left to go here, and we see Blaze Genji picked up. This speaks to a team fight comp with the Greymane either racing or helping with the fight. Genji, good at rotating on these smaller 2-lane maps, can help Blaze put pressure on the Dahaka, but could also try to jump on something like the Vala. They are a little weak on something to disrupt a Mosh at the moment, so that could be a moment, or that could be a point of weakness in this draft. We'll see the final pick here for Infinity coming out, and it's going to be the Thrall. Both the Thrall's ultimates can be incredibly impactful in the middle area during the halftime show or before starting a race. I think both of these comps are good, but the lack of a really good interrupt for Mosh could be something that Spooky Ghosts regrets in this match. But with all that said, we're about to pop into game number 1 between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers. It is the Spooky Ghosts. I don't know why they're Italian, but here we are. No Artanis picked or banned. Hoku will be demolished. Don't cry, Hoku. Don't cry. just because there's no other map he'll be picked on, because Braxis, well, it's possible they take Dragonshire and pick him on that, but that seems unlikely. I've seen Feint's Rexar for Dragonshire, and it is bumpin'. It's bussin'. I actually don't know what that means. I've heard from the young folks that that means good. But, I'm an old man. Not quite Deckard Kane-aged, though. Hopefully Little Wolf is not disconnecting here with the slow loaded. But here we go. It's game number 1.
Prepare yourselves for battle, heroes.
On the left side, we have Spooky Ghosts representing the High Heavens and Ilarion the Angel Immortal. We've got Eric with Ak on Blaze, Little Wolf on Anduin, Rogoth on Diablo, Boundrix on Genji, and Calidus on Greymane.
The battle begins
In the red, representing the Burning Hells and the team Crit Kickers, also siding up with the Demon Immortal Belith, we have Ai on Vala, Godfred on the Elite Torrent Chieftain, Travis partying with the Orc Rhaegar, Feint Parry on the Zerg Dahaka, and Infinity Meme bringing the second Orc to this matchup, Thrall. For the Horde! So that does put some pressure in team fights on IE as the only kind of ranged damage dealer. Travis will have to be very careful to keep IE alive. Now looking at level 1 talents, we do have the Adrenaline Stim Pack for Blaze, Power Word Shield for Anduin, Soul Shield for Rogoth's Diablo, Swift as the Wind for Genji. So we don't often see the Swift Strike, we often see the Agile Mounting, I believe it's called. Mounted Agility, that's what it's called. But Boundress looking for the Swift Strike boost, and we have Wolfheart, so the Worgen armor, which I've heard can be felt. It's noticeable improvement in the Worgen form. A tech but they're jumping onto Roga. They're jumping onto Boundary X, or Boundrix, I'm not sure. Someone correct me on that. Eric with a K, not Eric Ak. Ah, very good. Thank you, Kidavari. Eric with a K. Can you correct me on Boundary X too, or is it Boundrix? Because these people do not make their names clear. Yes, we see the tech where they send the auto attacker to capture a camp. Feint Parry sees them doing it, doesn't really have an opportunity to stop it though. But in the bottom, the capture is returned, so each team will have a Khosrit siege camp early. Now, we do have the Puncturing Arrow, Hungering Arrow build for Aiz Vala, Block Party for ETC, Colossal Totem for a Totem E build for the Rhaegar. We have Race Guard Dahaka with the Enhanced Agility and the Trolling Thunder from the Orc. Now, this is one thing Dahaka doesn't love, having to step out from underneath his gate to clear this, especially against a pseudo-ranged auto-attacker like Blaze. Very, very annoying. Dahaka isn't the best trade person in the world, so he is going to lose some damage on this gate. On the flip side, this camp has already been cleared with almost no damage on the gate as our Worgen friend rotates up to clear this Bruiser camp about right on time. Dahaka just now finishing off, but losing most of this tower and half of his gate so far. In the bottom, we do see Boundary X and Rogoth clearing out these minions. Godfred will stay here to make sure that the minions don't bounce against the gate and that all of the experience is collected. Immortals are spawning in 13 seconds as the Bruiser camp comes up behind Feint to Parry, and in the bottom it will be answered very quickly. But the members of Spooky Ghosts are ready to go right now, riding their dollar bill mounts and the Golden Lion for Anduin. So they're feeling big money as they immediately start racing, and it's very, very even on race. Very, very close. It seems like it's slightly going... Ooh, it's hard to say. The Demon is slightly more damaged, meaning blue team slightly won that race, but it is very, very close. And once again, both teams are going to jump onto race, but if the first half is anything to go by, it does seem like Belith will go down first, and Kickers will be defending the first Immortal phase with only 700 health left on Ilarion the Angel as he pancakes Belith into the earth, absorbs his hit points, and will charge down the bottom lane aided by spooky ghosts. And again, with a melee character, you do put a slight bit more pressure on yourself dealing with the Immortal. Now, this shield, the shield it has is so small that it won't stay ranged for very long. In shield form, it uses ranged attacks. In its health bar, it uses melee attacks. So it is using these golden and silver swords to knock down the wall, and it is down. Infinity Meme with the good Feral Spirit there, and Ilarion will drop quickly. Godfred jumps out. Calidus yanked out with the pull by Little Wolf. Faintberry does dig down. They're looking to get a kill here. The charge. Rogoth charges onto Dahaka, but Dahaka gets him with a dragon. That is going to be first blood. Dahaka is dead, and with only 52 souls, he will be dead for the full duration. 16 or 12 more seconds. In the top, though, Blaze realizes his opponent has dug away and will take almost this entire gate. So structurally, this is a lead for Spooky Ghosts. In the bottom, because Diablo's dead, they take this Khazra camp, and it looks like IE is rotating the safe way to come towards the top, but Calidus is already here, and will likely capture this camp before Vala can get up here to contest. The Worgen is excellent at taking camps quickly, but he's not quick enough. IE is here and looking to punish Calidus, and Calidus will back away, not knowing how many people may have come with the Demon Hunter, and that's wise. Godfred was on his way up. So, both teams taking a moment to catch their breaths. In the top, Calidus is going to help clear this camp for Blaze. Feint to parry, having to play it safe, goes for the drag and does miss onto Blaze. Does get jumped on by Rogoth here, but Little Wolf taking a lot of damage. The Desperate Pair was down to 6 health and finished off by Thrall. And Desperate Pair, an incredibly risky ability as it locks you into being down for I think it's 2 seconds, and that's a long time in Heroes of the Storm. So, we're going to see Immortal spawning right now, and the red team will jump onto Ilarion, but once again, Greymane was ready right away to hop onto their Immortal, but the rest of the team is slow getting here, and so this time the race will very clearly be in the favor of Crit Kickers as they take down Ilarion to half health, and this time for the halftime show. Now, Feint to parry is at about a third health, so health bars are slightly, so both sides going to their defensive side. Crit Kickers looking to hit 10 first. So Feint to parry will walk top as Spooky Ghosts jump onto their camp, and Rogoth continues to use the Fire Stomp to try and find his opponents. I will step up here. Was very close to getting caught in that stun. But 10s are here. We will see the Rain of Vengeance for Vala, the Mosh Pit for Godfred, the Ancestral Healing for Travis Party's Rhaegar, and without having 10s, Spooky Ghost has to back off. Now their camp will push hard towards this bottom fort that's already taken damage, and Feint to parry will be alone with the Belith Demon in the top lane. And Sundering, so not EQ for Thrall in this tight mid area. We will see Sundering for the big playmaking. On the other side, we have Light Bomb for Anduin, Bunker for Blaze, Apocalypse, which is surprising. Usually Flame Stomp build goes into Lightning, but they feel like they have the ability to follow this up. Blaze does go down to Vala on the rotate here, and Rogoth is caught, but he does have full souls this time, so very tanky. Little Wolf with the great pull, keeping his... A great W there by the EDC, knocking them all into the knockback from Belt. They all take some damage. The stun coming out, and they're forced to back off as Belith hammers away with his black iron swords onto this fort. And the Cursed Bulletin X Strike are the final. But yes, usually with Fire Stomp build, we see the Lightning Breath. So they obviously feel that with the Genji Light Bomb combo, they're able to follow it up with the APOC, but they don't use it here. The X-Strike comes out. Good damage on Travis Party. Infinity Beam does finish. Here comes the Apocalypse, but a great Ancestral Healing onto Godfred. The Purge has to come on Godfred as well. He takes so much damage. But they're able to get away in the bottom. The offlaners do offlaner things. They're continuing to chase in the top, and Thrall blows away. But the little soul demarker here shows that Diablo will be back faster than you think. Oh, there he is. They'll take this top lane. The minions are crashing in. This top fort will go down to minions. Eric with a K clearing this bottom Khazra camp. They do get the stun on Faint to Parry, but the cursed bullet misses, and the burrow means Rogoth cannot finish his shadow charge. Faint to Parry keeping himself safe, even as these Khazra push into the top lane. Crit Kickers will start on their Bruiser camp, and they have almost a full level advantage thus far. Rogoth collecting experience as it looks like the members of Spooky Ghost want to rotate up to clear this camp. Faint to Parry being very careful, not knowing where his opponents may be, and does back away as the Bruiser camp pushes. In the bottom, Crit Kickers only Rogoth to contest them here as they're looking to put some damage onto this gate. And here we go. 21 stacks so far for this Vala. Not huge, not terrible. With the amount of switching and rotating, it's not unheard of. What is ETC's W again? Face Melt. I always forget that because it's such a weird name for an ability. The Immortals are back up. And so they look at defending for a moment, but no one's there. So they go immediately on to race. No one from Sugios is racing yet, so halftime will go fully and without contesting to Crit Kickers. Now, I know they don't have 13 yet, but they just gave that away. Toki, thanks for the 20-person raid. You're great. Hope your cast is amazing, my dude. This time they will contest, but they're well aware that they're not going to win. They're just trying to get the shield as small as possible for Ilarion. But Ilarion is taken down, so now Belith will smash the Angel into the ground, suck his life out, slurpity derpity, and they're going to go bottom to siege once again the high heavens. Welcome, welcome to everyone who's come in from Toki B's stream. You had the privilege of one of the best casters. Hope you can make do with me. So, Belith using his ranged attacks because he still has about half a health bar's worth of shields. They are trying to create space behind the demon. And shields will be gone. He'll now attack with these. APOC coming out. So does the light bomb, but the slight miss timing there. The X-ray comes out, but it misses. The Hawka is digging up as the jump is on the Godfred, and Little Wolf pulls Boundary X while Bell continues to smash. The Mosh Pit will catch two, and Eric with a K is blown away as Rogoth is rooted and will be blown up as well. Boundary X gets low. Little Wolf gets jumped on, and they change their target, and it's a 3-for-0 with Belith finishing his last few hit points, blowing away the gate here. But a 3-for-0 for Crit Kickers, not punished at all. And again, a good curse bullet on the Godfred. He's incredibly low. A good heal there from Travis Party. But again, not having the solid Mosh interrupt is going to be brutal here. And that was, this ETC was picked in the first two picks. They had the opportunity to pick something, but Anduin doesn't even have a cleanse that can let you charge in. Like, Blaze can't stop it. Anduin can't really stop it unless he gets, like, the perfect light bomb. Diablo can't stop it. Genji can't stop it. Like, who's going to stop it? No one. So that's a very good... And it locked down the front line, too, which means that Vala and Thrall could just do damage towards the backline, and there was nothing anyone could do about it on the side of Spooky Ghost, as they're forced to give away both of the Khazra camps here, putting them even further behind in experience. They are now a level and a half behind, and Crit Kickers have 16s. Which is where Vala gets that much more frightening. When Manticore comes out, even when she's Q build, Hungering Arrow builds, Manticore is so dangerous, especially for this Diablo. And with Thrall's Rolling Thunder doing % health damage as well, this Diablo needs to be careful. He is not going to live a long time. Dahaka continues to use this global presence to his advantage. And again, that 40 armor when in the, for I think it's 4 seconds or 5 seconds after coming out of a bush. They're looking for perhaps a rotational mistake, but there isn't one, so they go immediately onto the Immortal. But even though they're not 16 yet, Spooky Ghost knows they can't just give this away this time. So they're going to step up. They're going to try and push away Crit Kickers. So for the moment, they are successful, as in the top, Faint to Parry and Eric with a K are just doing offlaner things. Faint using this bush up here to get constant 40 armor, just to make life difficult for his opponent. Climbs up to the top, making sure he doesn't get ganked. while the members of Crit Kickers take their camp, giving them more map pressure. The APOC over the Lightning Breath might be for disrupting the mosh pit. It's possible, but man, is that kind of a bad trade. But there's the mosh pit onto the APOC will come out, but there's the stun onto ETC as well. Boundary X is getting incredibly low. The Ancestral is popped, keeping Godfred alive as Faint to Parry was in the back, but now taking damage from Faint to Parry. Bunker is dropped, and it saves Rogoth and Eric with a K. As this has been a fight all over the place, but many members of Spooky Ghosts are very low right now, and Crit Kickers will once again win the halftime show with nothing taken off of their friend, the Demon Beleth. Once again, even though they've hit 16, now that all of their ultimates are used, except for the Cursed Bullet coming back up, there will be no contest here from Spooky Ghosts. And with a full shield, Beleth will charge towards the top lane as a huge wave is pushing in the bottom. And Faint to Parry is going to give his support as a Zerg, because this looks like a Zergling rush. The stun and the damage onto Blaze here. But we see in the top, now Godfred is, the members are rotating. I think they've decided to let the Immortal push, and they're going to try and take this bot fort once it becomes clear that Spooky Ghosts are committed in the top lane. And there it is, Diablo, and the rest of the team comes in. Eric with a K rotates to the bottom, but they have so much building damage with Thrall and Vala, and they are chunking away the bottom keep. It is going down fast. It's going down faster than Beleth. Shield is going down. He's taking out this gate, but now the other members of Spooky Ghosts are coming in, looking to see if there's something we can do here. A great face melt from Godfred prevents the jet propulsion. You are not unstoppable in jet propulsion, and Eric with a K learns that. He probably already knew that, but he learns it again with a plum from Godfred. A plum. A plum. So, the top keep is at about a quarter. The bottom keep is gone. In fact, there is a catapult fling-flong at the core. Pew! They're looking to engage on this top camp while they still are similar advantage. The bunker will come out, and in fact, they're going to give this up. Out comes the Genji, and they're also getting the APOC, a fantastic combination. They're going to let Godfred die as the Ancestral goes out onto IE, and for once, a perfect setup between the Light Bomb and the APOC. They catch the ETC, and they almost get the Vala, and they do force the Ancestral healing there. In the bottom, though, Faint to Parry is going to try and force someone back. As he collects the Causer camp, is clearing minions, and is going to push directly onto the core. There are 5 pushing here, but Eric with a K will be forced to go back and deal with the results of this Dahaka push. Looking to flank in from the back. He's seen by Kaladas, but manages to walk through, and the Cursed Bullet misses. Looking for the grab. He's just annoying. There's the grab onto the Greymane, but a great pull there from Little Wolf will keep the Worgen commander safe for now. As Blaze clears up the Causer camp in the bottom, 20s are about to be reached for Crit Kickers, and they do have almost a full 2-level advantage. This is the fight that Spooky Ghosts want. They want the pre-20 fight, and they are going hard as ETC is just returning now. They're rotating towards the Dahaka. He'll find a bush to run away. And here comes the Light Bomb into X-Strike, but everything misses, and now 20s are here for Crit Kickers. They want to fight this now. We've got Acrobat with a Caltrops for Vala, Tour Bus for ETC, Farseer's Blessing, Contagion for the Dahaka, and World Breaker for the Thrall. And the World Breaker comes out. A great mosh pit, but a good pull by Little Wolf means it is over before it really begins. Out comes the stun from APOC, and Rhaegar is caught in it, and they're going to jump onto Faint to Parry. He pops his trait to get the healing pack as Travis Party is getting low also. Out comes the Ancestral with the Farseer's Blessing. They'll blow up the Greymane. Rogoth taking tons of damage. They're also focusing on the Immortal. They're doing both at the same time. The Face Belt will knock Rogoth back. He flips over. There's the pull. Faint to Parry looks for the tongue, but will choose to give it up, as Genji also had to back to stop the push of the minions. Halftime is here, and once again, it is a full health Beleth. And without their Greymane, there's no opportunity for Spooky Ghosts to raise here. They're going to have to try and defend, but without 20s, they can't do that either. So Eric with a K will be tasked with taking their camp. Godfred takes a look. It's going to force Blaze back. Ilarion will be defeated. Beleth will leap on his angelic opponent while this camp is stolen by Crit Kickers. And 20 Still a full level and a quarter away for the members of Spooky Ghost. They are in a very tricky position right now. A full health Demon Lieutenant is storming towards the top lane keep that's being held together right now with tissue paper and spit. Out comes the light bomb engage. It's going to miss. It actually does hit feint to parry, as does the cursed bullet. But the X strike gets Genji caught immediately. Rogoth gets caught in the tongue. The tour boss catches, but the APOC will come out. It does stun all 5 members, but they're already down to Genji, and Rogoth the Diablo will go down as well. He did have full souls. He will be back right now. Calidus doing everything he can to Bella, but the ranged attacks of the core are doing so much damage they blow up the Anduin. Rogoth is silenced as well and is caught by the entire team. Blown away as the Farseer's blessing is dropped. The core is down. Game number 1 to Crit Kickers. GG. And I would argue that was a snowballing performance for the members of Crit Kickers there. Just getting a little advantage, then a slightly bigger advantage, then a slightly bigger advantage, then a slightly bigger advantage, until they snowballed out of control. The kills were 12-1 as they just played smart. And every map will reward you for doing that, but smart with their finger on the trigger is how I would define how Crit Kickers played game number 1. They waited for the right moment, and then steamrolled their opponents. Look at this. 75,000 damage for IE, 35,000 damage for Greymane. That is the story of this game. Always ready to jump in, but preventing themselves from making a big mistake. The talents are here. If you're curious, you can always pause the VOD or the video if there's anything in a build you'd like to replicate. But just like that, game number 1 will go over to Crit Kickers, and we'll be seeing right away where we'll go for game number 2. And looking at what went really right for the members of Crit Kickers there, the Vala was solid, and I thought the Rhaegar had some well-timed Ancestrals, but I think ETC had some mind-bending face melts. Dahaka played smart and safe, but I really think Godfred needs to be shouted out that game. Face melts, pushing people around. Oh, thanks for the support, Yanthor. Really appreciate it. Good slides. None of the moshes were huge, except for the early one where he caught Blaze and Diablo, but overall, just some really great ETC play. And honestly, ETC is a tricky character to play as a main tank. He has low health, and he can be deeply punished for going into a bad mosh pit. He's just as stunned as everyone else when he's dancing around there. And he can be jumped on by a Greymane Genji, but they never had that opportunity because the control from the members of Crit Kickers around the elite Torin Cheftain was fantastic. So once again, as the losing team of game 1, Spooky Ghosts will get to choose between first pick or map pick. So I'm going to grab a quick drink of something here. I'll be back in about 10 seconds. Entertain yourselves? And we're back, baby. All right. Still haven't seen where we're going for game number 2. But again, both teams have an opportunity to, take a break, take a breath, give their teams a chance for bio. I'm just one of those weird people who doesn't take a break during a set because I don't have any fun or exciting scenes to show you guys. I don't have any adverts to share because I'm just all about the love of the game. Not that the others aren't. Please don't get me wrong, and don't say I'm flaming any of the other guys. They have cool stuff. They deserve to make money doing what they love casting. It's just not for me. It's not what I'm doing here. I just want to have fun yelling about a game that I think is sadly way too underrated by the MOBA community. I think it's a lot more fun and fast than either Dota or League, and I just love Heroes of the Storm. Even though it sometimes feels like an abusive girlfriend when you play Storm League, and every time you have one good game, you get 6 more with bots, trolls, smurfs on the other side, and people telling you to go die. It's still a fun game with fun characters, fun mechanics, and a bunch of different neat maps. So, if you have friends who love other games, just convert them. It's on Microsoft Battle Pass now. Just convince them. HOTS Master Race, HOTS Master MOBA. It's only a dead game if you let it be a dead game. That's the secret. Okay? So, now that all my plugs for Heroes of the Storm are over, they don't pay me. I just like Heroes of the Storm. We're just waiting for the teams to tell us where we're going for game number 2. And an absolutely splendid display of skill from our Div A teams in game 1. Again, preaching to the choir. Heck yeah, Foxblades. This game is great. I could sit in here. If you guys had the inclination and the patience, I would just sit here and, at least in terms of glazing the game compared to other MOBAs, I could just sit here and tell you why it's better than League all day. And again, it doesn't change the fact that a lot of MOBA players are just angry degenerates. That's going to be true in every MOBA, but the game itself is such a blast. You don't have to last hit minions, and for people like me who have the dexterity of a brick with tardive dyskinesia, that's great. That's awesome. I don't have to decide between last hitting my minion and keeping my health points above 50% because the frickin' Caitlyn decided to headhunter me while I'm trying to last hit my damn minions. Actually, I played top lane and support, and that's another thing. The supports in this game, you can actually get heals. Ancestral healing will give you your health bar back. The healing in, I don't know about Dota, I haven't played Dota, but the healing in League of Legends is like, haha, you got 6 hit point bags. Ryze is still going to blow you to hell because he's 5 levels higher than you because you're mid lane fed the whole game. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Terrible. So, as you can tell, I'm an expert at vamping because I still haven't heard where game number 2 is going to be. But it's all good. Selfishly, I kind of hope game number 2 is either on a tribute map. Now, Garden was banned, but Cursed wasn't, but we don't see that very often. Or Infernal Shrines. I think Infernal Shrines is one of the most fun maps in the map pool right now because you can win it in almost any way. There's camps, there's macro. It's a big enough map where something like a Samuro or a Murky can really get away with annoying nonsense. If you're a great teamfight team, you can just take every Punisher by destroying the enemy team when they show up. If you're really good at control of an area, you can kind of just keep your opponents in choke points and then damage them there. It's just a really, really exciting area. But now that I've told you how great Infernal Shrine's in, we are in fact going to Towers of Doom. So Towers of Doom will be game number 2 between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers. Towers of Doom, another excellent map. And it's a map where even if you only have 1 hit point left on the core, you can still win. It ain't over till she's over. So this can be a really, really awesome map to see played as well, because it can snowball and go really fast, or it can be over 29 minutes in as both teams fight tooth and claw for the altars. So it looks like once again Spooky Ghosts took first pick, so this is a Crit Kickers map choice. Now, I have heard it said that this is the map. I think I have to give somebody credit for this, and I think it might be Honey Badger. If I'm wrong, somebody yell at me. That Towers of Doom is where you take a team when you're certain you're better than they are. If you think your macro is better, if you think your micro is better, if you think your understanding of game states is better, you take your opponents to Towers of Doom. And it is a map where a good sense of the flow of the game, a good sense of where your opponents are at any given time, and how to take advantage of that does make this map exciting. Even though there's only 3 camps to be taken, invades are fairly common on this map. Top camp for pumpkins doesn't get taken very often, but it can be a kind of haha surprise to opponents. Sorry, I have to make a note here. Because they have me on one of the teams, that would be wise to take me out. I am certainly no Div A healer. But yeah, Towers of Doom is really fun, and there's other ways. There's only about 2 ways to do damage. Well, 3. You can walk. Sorry, they're doing funny chat. I can't chat and type at the same time. You can walk pumpkins in, you can do altars, or you can take the boss. There is a 4th way. It's very rare in competitive games. If you take all 6 towers, if you take all 3 of your opponent's forts, you will get, I think it's 1 shot every 2 seconds, 3 seconds, every few seconds, a shot will automatically fire across the map at your opponent. So there are a number of ways of doing it, but rushing your opponents down and trying to hit their core won't work. However, a common tactic used is to get the bottom and then keep your opponents away from recapping it with just 3 members. So, there's a lot of fun ways for this map too. Globals are really strong. Dahak is well liked on this map. Brightwing, of course. We do see some false side. We occasionally see Lost Vikings on this map. I don't want to get anyone excited for TLV, but strong TLV players can turn this into a really interesting matchup. But without further ado, both teams are ready, and we're going to jump into the draft of game number 2 between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers. Welcome to Towers of Doom. So there. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Again, first pick and first ban will go over to Spooky Ghosts. I wonder if we will once again see them go for the hard choke on healer. Now, I will say, a lot of the members of this team are really flexible in their hero pools. I know Faint Parry is, I think Godfred is, Infinity and IE can play basically the whole roster. If you were going to pick an area to choke, you might see more success with healer, but it's not guaranteed by any stretch. They have 2 very good healers, and they can swap them out. So if you try targeting one down, they can always pop the other, and they have quite different healer pools. So there's no way to truly ban this team out. The Anubrak will be banned here. No cocoons from the Beetle. Johanna, the insta-ban, coming out from Crit Kickers. So we have 2 tanks taken out so far. We'll see what else gets banned out here. There's 14 seconds left on the ban from Spooky Ghosts. And they have 88 choices left, I believe, if that number of 90 is still accurate for how many heroes we have. And Li Ming banned out. Li Ming is a decent hero. She can do lots of damage to gates and towers from a safe distance and can stop people from capping. Doesn't have the greatest wave clear, but that's not quite as important here, so decent ban here. And we will see the Lucio banned as well. So, same bans come out from Crit Kickers, 2 totally different bans come out from Spooky Ghosts. Let's see what they prioritize at game, or as pick number 1. Thank you again, Past the Maple. Really appreciate all the kindness. It feels nice when people are nice. Oof, that sounded preachy. Yikers. Pick number 1 will be the Brightwing. It was banned last time, but this time Calidus grabs the Fruit Fly. This time in a Widow Monkey. Anduin, Tychus, Instapick. Anduin was picked away and Tychus was banned last time. This time Crit Kickers decide immediately, we want these are ours, and in fact Odin or Laser Drill can be really good at burning down an opponent's fort, or if your fort's been captured, getting it back in a timely manner. So we have the choices coming out now, choices 2 and 3 for Spooky Ghosts, and they are going to grab Kael'thas and Varian. So a bit of a lockdown comp with the Taunt Poly and the Gravity Lapse out of the Kael'thas. They're going to be looking to do lots of AoE damage by locking someone down and then giving them a Living Bomb and then going, yeah, why don't you wander back to your friends now? So they do have good ways of isolating their opponents with these 3 picks. But the last ban of their side will come out from Crit Kickers. They're going to go the full time this time. Last time they banned very fast, but now it is going to be the Genji. So they will not have the Cyber Ninja Shimada brother to pair with their Kael'thas. And the final ban of this game will come out from Spooky Ghosts, and they've got 12 more seconds to make it. Now, they have been taking the entire time. They're considering what options they have. They could try to choke tank. They could try to choke the offlane. But they're going to go with ETC. They did not like what they saw last time. Now, that wasn't for the global. It was probably because of the dangerous moshes. And although they have Gravity Lapse and Poly now, so it's not quite as dangerous. Dahaka is still up, and I do wonder if that's something we see Feint to Parry pick for the second time. He's quite comfortable on the Zerg. Garrosh will get picked for Godfred, and that is always a terrifying tank to see if you are a squishy mage. But the Chromie will come out for Infinity Mage. They're going to allow Feint to Parry's offlane be the last pick on their side. And every offlaner is available. No offlaners were banned, and none has been picked either. So Eric with a K and Rift will get the final options here. And it does look like we've actually seen a substitution here. Rift is in, and it seems like whoever was healing last time, who, again, I'm drawing a blank on, is that Hogger will be taken by Eric with a K, and Zagara picked. So 2 characters very good at pushing lanes. Zagara is incredibly strong, and she gives you vision, which is very important on the bottom half of this map. And Hogger can do everything. Take camps, duel, push lanes, fight buildings, fight people. He's a very versatile offlaner. And we'll see what Eric with a K can do with the Hogger in his hands. Feint to Parry, the final pick here. There's 1 second left to go, and he's going to grab the Lost Vikings! Feint to Parry takes the Lost Vikings. Now, I don't believe he actually plays it. I believe he will swap it. Yes. Godfred's Vikings. I've heard good things. Looking really forward to seeing it. Balog, Olaf, and Eric are going to capture camps while Feint to Parry chucks people into the team. But let's see what craziness happens now between Spooky Ghosts and Crit Kickers in game number 2 of this Division A matchup. Pretend I have some fun graphic here or something. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. NGS Patreon. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Subscribe with Prime. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. This isn't a loading screen. And here we go. So, the blue team is Spooky Ghosts. They are down 1-0 and looking to tie this up and bring it to game 3. We have Eric with a K on Hogger, Calidus on Brightwing, Rogoth on Varian, Boundary X playing Kael'thas, and Rift on the Zerg Broodmother Zagara.
The battle begins
in the red, representing the Undertaker. No, the Gravekeeper. These guys are representing the Raven Lord. Representing the Gravekeeper, we've got Crit Kickers, Tychus, played by Infinity Meme on Chromie, Feint to Parry on the Garrosh, Olaf, Balog, and Eric, played by Godfred, they are the Lost Vikings, and Travis Party, bringing one of his strongest healers, Anduin. Early on, we do see Eric get caught and killed by Eric. Well, that's awkward. The Eric on Eric violence. When will it end? But Balog is in the top, knocking these down. He's going to be very careful not to offer another free life over to Hogger. We do see Eric come back up. And Godfred will have to be careful. Zagara can kill a Viking fairly easily. Now, Varian is a melee minion until 4, and they will have to be careful. They are scouted out by the vision of Chromie. Let's have a look at our level 1 talents while we're here. Both teams playing it very carefully so far. Not much in terms of brawls. We do have On the Prowl from Hogger, going with the trait build. We have Greater Polymorph, so not the Hypershift from Brightwing. We've got Overpower from the Varian, Mana Addict from Kael'thas, and Volatile Acid. So the Baneling build, and not, in fact, the E build, the Baneling drop build from our Zagara, who's rotating to the top, interestingly enough. This is a very interesting setup. They're running like a 2v... Oh, she's going to go for the camp. Interesting. Godfred has to be careful. He's going to lose Balog here as Eric gets caught as well. Balog goes down and Godfred gets pushed, and they will go for the top camp here. But in the bottom, Crit Kickers has gotten their camp. Are they going to look to throw the Varian? No, not yet. So we do see the quarterback for Tychus. The Time Walker's pursuit for the Chromie as they invade this bottom camp, and Zagara is rotating a little too slow to help with this. We have Unrivaled Strength for the Garrosh. Explosive attacks, increasing Balog's splash damage to by 100% against non-heroes, so minions, essentially. And we have the Even-Handed Blessing from our Anduin, as they're also going around trying to kill these creep tumors. They're annoying as hell. So most of the gate, or the entire gate and part of one of the turrets does go down. Olaf is getting caught here in the mid lane, but is forced to run back just a little bit. Still wants to collect experience. It is a 4v3 in the bottom lane, and even though we do now have Taunt on this Varian, they are outnumbered because of the Vikings soaking experience in the other 2 lanes. Altars will activate in about 15 seconds, and the bottom is a large advantage to the members, but something that Spooky Ghost can do is actually prioritize the top 2. Give this up, run the rest of your team, or at least your Brightwing up to the top, take the top 2, and but Crit Kickers have already thought of this, and Tychus is already up here. Godfred trying to annoy Rift on the Zagara, but can't for much longer. Godfred gets his on the right as Rift gets his on the left, and it will be 2-1 in favor of Crit Kickers, and we see 32-36 for our scores. Feint to parry, looking at Rogoth here. There goes the flip, the knock-up. They're trying to body block the Varian here, and he is caught, but he will not allow the Orc Chieftain to slow him down. He's a gladiator! He's a dead gladiator. Murderized by...
For the war chief of the Horde, Garrosh Hellscream.
And they are going to punish hard on this bot lane, taking down the gate and one of the towers. Meanwhile, we're going on an adventure. I can't quite do Vikings. I apologize for that terrible. That almost sounded like a Harry Potter thing. Yikers. Godfred, Olaf is in the middle, soaking experience. Balog in the top, pushing in, and Eric just annoying the Hogger. Look at me. I'm a skunk. But Zagara's here to try and put some punishment on our tiny Viking friend. Crit Kickers will once again go to take their camp. And it will push towards their opponent's completely gone gate. It'll push directly towards the fort. They're rotating top now. Are they looking to take the camp in the top as well? No, they just stop. Looking for the catch here. They didn't want to be seen by these. They're going to put damage onto Rift Zagara here as Godfred puts damage onto Eric with a K. She dodges the Groundbreaker but does not dodge the flip. And with Godfred standing on the point, Eric with a K can't capture it in time. And so the team up by Crit Kickers forces Hogger away, and they steal the top camp. In the bottom, Olaf and Chromie looking to delay this while the other members show up. They do get their camp the first time they've captured their own camp. On the side of Spooky, the flip onto Kael'thas. That is not where he wants to be. And blown away is the High Elf. The Moon Elf? No, Moon Elves are blue. I don't actually know what kind of elf Kael'thas is. Lore experts inform me. But Eric will capture. Not Eric with a K. Eric with the K. Viking Eric will capture the point. It is now 28-36. They're going to flip and catch Varian. Calidus is incredibly low. He can't stay to heal his tank. And his tank, he's trying though. He teleports in, but they kill both of them. It's a 2-for-1 deal. But they lose no one for it. As Tens come out a level and a half earlier for the members of Crit Kickers. Odin will be popped as they siege up against this bottom fort. We do see the Commandeer Odin, the Slowing Sands, Decimate from Garrosh. I almost said Avatar. That looks like the Avatar symbol. But Play Again from the Lost Vikings and Light Bomb from Anduin. I cannot wait to see the Light Bomb Olaf engage. There is the stun, but Tychus walks his way out of the Odin and leaves the smoking wreckage of his SC2 vehicle behind. Tens should be coming online shortly, but not before they lose this tower on the side of Spooky Ghosts. Blood Elf, thank you. That's what they are. I knew it was something that sounded kind of creepy and weird, but I was like, they're just high elves with, like, anger issues, right? That's what Blood Elves are. Godfred is actually starting the boss. I think this is a misclick. I think this was a mistake. He's going to lose Balog because he clicked into here on the minimap and accidentally... No! They managed to save the middle-sized Viking. And each team is going to look towards their altar, as in the bottom they are defending this bottom town. Again, this is one of the most common strategies on this map. If you can force your opponents away, force them to try and come for it, and that way you can even trade altars and it doesn't matter. You'll always have the advantage. It looks like Zagara is going to get the capture here. Yes, I couldn't quite stop in time. So 3 shots will go back the other way. It is 23-33 now as Tens are coming in for the members of Spooky Ghosts. We have the Blink Heal from Brightwing, the Shield Wall from Varian Phoenix, from Kael'thas, Devouring Maw from the Zagara, and Hogger has not yet chosen. There is the taunt onto Feint to Parry's Garrosh as the Living Bomb is placed on him as well. We will see Tychus and Olaf looking at this top camp. Balog is murdered. Oh, Balog is murdered by the Zagara. Viking down. Viking down! The Maw will grab Tychus, so Rift survives on the Zagara for now. Eric OK tries to knock them in, but just misses the timing. The healing is coming out from Calidus as Brightwing keeps the Knoll alive. Mana addiction, that's all. Hey man, drug addiction is a disease. I can't mock the Blood Elves for their dark mana addiction. So, riding his money around, Varian making that sweet gladiator cash. And they're going to try and stop these pumpkins from coming in. They don't want another 3 shots taken off of their core. So Rogoth will stand right here. Will take the damage. But there is an attempt at the taunt, but the Indomitable from Garrosh means they catch and kill Kael'thas as he slowly disintegrates in the Slowing Sands. And Zagara blown away by Infinity Memes. Chromie, and wow, without the shield wall, Rogoth may have died to the Sandblasts as well. Only 1 altar up at the moment, and little Eric is being sent to deal with it, while IE pushes in the mid with this Tychus. If they capture this, they will get 5 more shots. Now, Balog is being chased. Now, that time I'm not sure. I feel like that wasn't a mistake. I feel like he was trying to get it to proc on Hogger. There's 5 more shots, so 18-33. A big time lead. But again, remember, at any time, this game can turn around. 1 good fight is all Spooky Ghosts need to give themselves a chance to get back in this game. But this is the way you lock the enemy team out from getting 1 good fight. Now, they are chasing down IE here. The Maw comes out, and with Calidus and Rift, they kill the convict Tychus. Tychus Finley, you've just been delivered your death sentence. Olaf getting beaten up by Hogger in the top lane, who is going to break down this gate. Phoenix is cast just to get these pumpkins from leaping onto the core. And they do manage to kill them. And Zagara will leave to push out another lane. Eric is here, continuing to annoy the Hogger, and the Zagara has to run away as Balog and Olaf are in the top, clearing away these. So right now it's just Infinity and Travis, and in fact, the other members of Spooky Ghost have given up on that. They're going to rotate somewhere else. Hogger has started the boss, and with 2 bottom, there's going to have to be a fast rotate from Kickers if they want to contest this. This boss is already down to about half, but Odin is popped, and Spooky Ghost will back away. They do force their opponents away. It looks like Crit Kickers wants to start this. It was down to half, but they know their opponents don't want to fight as they have the 16s, so they'll take the boss. This has backfired terribly for Spooky Ghost to go down to 14 hits on core. The taunt is down on the Garrosh and the gravity lapse. He's down to about half, but he heals up with his Bloodthirst W. Tyke is caught in the maw, as is Olaf, who will get blown away. The flip-in is onto Rift Cigar, taking a lot of damage. The feint to parry is getting incredibly low as well. The taunt comes out, and it looks like he will go down here. No, he's running away. He managed to stay alive. Eric with a K is getting targeted down by IE's Tychus, and the Knoll is no more. Play again is cast the Vikings. They won't be caught there anymore. Kael'thas is killed. Brightwing is killed. It's a 4-for-0. Tychus gets the quad kill, and he's looking to make it a penta. No! Olaf steals the kill! Olaf steals the kill! And that is GG, as Olaf steals Tychus's kill and really makes his teammate sad. Wow. Really, Vikings? Really? That's how you do things? So rouge. So rouge. So. 12-2, so it's slightly better this time, but another domination. I think the Lost Vikings really threw the members of Spooky Ghosts for a loop. It was looking like a really standard composition that turned into a Vikings comp, and it was played really well. I can really only give props to the members of Crit Kickers. They came out strong, they played their comp brilliantly, and they won with a 2-0 domination, giving them 4 more stands in the standings, bumping them up to 22 points. So that is GG 2-0. So we're going to try and get an interview with a member of our successful team. So let's pop into a lobby here and see what we get. And it looks like we have Icon. We have the substitute who didn't play in tonight's game on the interview. Welcome, Icon.
Hello.
So you didn't play tonight, but you got to watch Crit Kickers 2-0. One of the lowest teams in the standings, but still a team that played fairly well. Is there anything that jumped out at you from the way Crit Kickers played tonight?
Yes, I laid in bed with my daughter, and I put her to sleep, and she talked to me about cats.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad we were able to clarify that before it got weird. Godfred's been looking for an opportunity to bust out these Vikings for a while. Did you find it impressive the way he was able to control Balog, Olaf, and Eric?
Oh yeah, pushing buttons is Godfred's thing.
I have to assume...
No, he's a really good Vikings player.
I have to assume that I told you interviews are stupid and you came in here with that energy. But I'll ask one more question before you give your shout-outs. We saw a really good Rhaegar from Travis Party. Now, it's usually your hero. How jealous are you that Travis Party is starting to horn in on your move pool, or on your hero pool?
We were just happy that they banned my Brightwing.
They did
Travis has yes they did. Travis has learned everything I taught him, and he's learned it well.
He absolutely has. Is there anyone that Crit Kickers would like to shout out? Now, again, as the substitute, it may feel a little different for you, but who would you like to shout out, Icon, for this 2-0 win for Crit Kickers?
I'd like to shout out on my Canadian friend Omster for casting. Go Omster. I'd like to shout out my team for having me. allowing me to partake in the event in some sort of form tonight. And I'd like to shout out Spooky Ghost for presenting a formidable challenge. They're actually really good players. It, did a lot of scouting on them, and we were afraid of quite a few things that they could have picked. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you for joining us. That is Icon from Crit Kickers, their support main player, but obviously had some family time tonight. So that is, thank you, Icon. That is going to be it for us tonight, guys. Thank you so much to Toki for the raid, and thank you to these teams for doing an awesome job of giving us some great Heroes of the Storm. Now, don't go anywhere. I'm going to try and raid Toki. Now, I have not successfully done this yet, but there's always a first time for everything. I believe Toki does have a double cast going on today. I don't see him on, but it looks like Peldor is still on. Let's try and raid Peldor. Everybody hold your breath, cross your fingers, eat your potatoes. Let's go raid Toki, or not Toki, Peldor, another fantastic caster of Heroes of the Storm. So, go enjoy some Heroes of the Storm with Peldor as he casts Zivc Heavy Group Therapy versus Witch Rhythm. Catch you later.
Vala. Hondo's playing really well. Hondo's playing really well.